Welcome back, trainers. So here we go. This is the Pokemon that I was saying nobody has really discussed as far as the Twilight Cup is concerned, and that is going to be Dustox here. And if you're thinking to yourself, what are you doing? Why are you even bringing this thing up? You can simply use Venomoth with Confusion and as well as Bug Buzz, and it's actually going to be performing a little bit better as far as damage output goes, okay? So yes, that is true, damage output. They're both the same type, bug and poison, but the thing that Dustox has going for it, as a matter of fact, is it will be able to completely max out, and it has higher defense as well once it's maxed out over Venomoth, because Venomoth is not going to be nearly close at the level that Venomoth is going to be. And when you're playing in PvP, the whole goal is to be at the highest level possible, not the best IVs. So that is why you want to focus on lower IV Pokemon, is because if you do have, say, a 0 all around, and that is going to be your best option for PvP and higher level potential. So Dustox here is going to be able to take hits like a champ because its defense is fairly good. We're going to go over all those stats here, as well as a calculator to show the exact damage output for Confusion and Bug Buzz side by side with these Pokemon here. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have going on for these two, because I'm quite excited, finally able to talk about it. And I was able to do some tests as well, and I was quite surprised on the performance. So much so that I'm even considering maxing it out. Now that would sound crazy, right? Throw away your startup some more, Poke. Yes, go ahead and do it. Alright, so we have a 1000 CP Dustox and a 1000 CP Venomoth. And if you're thinking, well, this isn't the best and even comparison that you can do, well, kind of. If I was to completely max out that Dustox, it's going to be at level 40 and still be within the Great League. It's actually going to max out at 1167, so that's not very much for 150,000 Stardust. Pretty insane. And then you have the Venomoth, which is going to be powered up a few more levels. It's going to land at exactly 1500 CP, as you can see there, if I decided to power that one up at level 17. So what I'm trying to get at here is, if you do bring this to the Twilight Cup and you were faced off head to head, both at 100% health, starting off the match with these two, the Dustox is going to win, okay? And if you're wondering, well, how is that even possible? The Venomoth is doing a lot more damage output, sitting at 4.6, while the Dustox is sitting at 3.1. Well, that's because the Dustox is at a higher level, and actually I'm going to be able to max it out completely as well. So we'll be looking at that, battling it, going up against my friend Chirk. He does have a 1007 CP Venomoth, so we will be able to confusion each other until the death, and you'll clearly see which one is going to be the winner. I did send him several invites, and then he sent me one back, just to make sure 100% that it's not just me getting the advantage sending those invites. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at that. But first, let's look at their stats. Alright, so both of these Pokemon are going to be weak to the same exact thing, because they're going to be both Bug and Poison. Weak to Fire, Flying, Psychic, and Rock. So they're both going to be weak to that Confusion. And then resisting Fighting quite a bit, being Poison and Bug, both of those types resisting the Fighting, as well as the Grass. And then weak to Bug, Fairy, and Poison. So things are going to be super effective to them in the Twilight Cup, but at the same time, with that Confusion, it's just hitting so hard. Anyways, let's go over their stats here. Dustox is going to be maxing out at 1224 at 100% IV, and this is one of those cases where, you know, I keep saying you want the lower IV for PvP, but if they can max out within that league for that potential, you want the best IVs possible. In this case, 100, Dustox will do you great. So it's going to max out at 1224, attack 98. So as you can see, it's a lot lower than the Venomoth, but it maxes out within the Great League, and that's why it shines. Defense 162 and stamina 155. Now if we go over to the Venomoth, that's going to be maxing out at 2082, attack 179, a lot higher, and defense 143 and stamina 172. So the defense is going to be a little bit lower than the Dustox, and the stamina is going to be a little bit higher. But that Dustox being maxed out at level 40, period, is going to be better, okay? And like I said, we're going to be taking a look at those battles so you can see 100% for yourself what I'm talking about here. So the question is, do you want to invest in this? If you possibly, I don't know, found a higher CP pre-evolution of the Dustox and you evolved it, and it's way up there, or maybe you have a lucky that will be your best option. As far as investing Stardust, I'm not too sure, but if you are going to use this and you so happen to have a mirror match, this can possibly help you win the fight. Going up against a Toxicroak, you're going to be doing so much damage, even with the Venomoth in this case. So with that said, there you go. There are the stats. Now, what do you want these for exactly? Well, it's going to be really strong to go up against the Toxicroak for sure. The Skunk Tank will hurt both of these with that Flamethrower possibly, but you can, get off those bug moves, and that will do a lot of damage to the Skunk Tank. So there is that. Alright, now the moment you've been waiting for, the head-to-head test. Let's see what we have, because this is very significant. And at this point, if you're thinking, this is pointless, Poke, why are you even showing us this still? Well, I think it's very useful and could actually help you take the win. So we have them both doing almost seemingly the same amount of damage, but you're going to see how the Dustox is going to hold up with a bit more defense and putting off a little bit more damage too. And took it into the red first, and there you go. Significant amount of health left. That's enough to get off a charge move onto the next Pokemon here. So let's look at it at 50% speed so we can see and determine what exactly is going on here. So looks like they're both doing the same amount, and they will be going into the yellow about the same time. We just want to see when the red's going to happen. All right, so both green, both yellow at the same time. All right, let's see what we have red. Red on the Venomoth, and the Dustox is still in the yellow, taking a hit, and now it hits red. And then down goes the Venomoth, and the Dustox is surviving with a good amount of health left. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the next field test here. Yet again, I'm sending the invite. The next time he's going to be sending it to me just to be 100% certain it's not some sort of a lag or any server side problems. So seemingly even at this point, almost on par with each other. And then the Venomoth yet again going into the red, and the Dustox holding on to that charge for the next Pokemon. And like I said, that can help you win the battle. Now this is the one where he sent it to me. Fairly significant. He could possibly take the win on this one because of the whole lag issue that people have had. Possibly sending those invites will give you the upper hand, but that is not the case here with this Pokemon. And there is another thing to talk about, alright? As you're going to see the Dustox yet again pulling the win. So if you're thinking to yourself, okay, this is a good test, I suppose, but they're not entirely even. That Dustox is level 30, and that Venomoth is sitting at around, what, level 17. So how is that conclusive? Well, technically, if you were to go into the Great League at their best potential here, well, Venomoth's best potential would be at a 0% IV, and then you would max it out. As high as it can go is close to 1500, right? And then the Dustox would be at 100% IV, and mine is certainly not that. But you can see here the attack is a little bit lower, but it was outputting not necessarily more damage. It was just holding up better against the confusions because of that higher defense. As you can see, the Venomoth's defense is a lot lower than the Dustox here. And that's pretty much it, folks. I just wanted to show you that. A little food for thought whether or not you want to use Venomoth or possibly this Dustox. The less desirable and popular Pokemon, but at the end of the day, performing a little bit better. Now, how's it going to hold up going against other Pokemon? A lot better. As you can see, the defense on the Dustox is a lot more. For the Venomoth, you're at 106 at exactly 1500 CP at a level 91%. And for the Dustox, you're sitting at 140. So that's pretty significant, don't you think? Now, if you're still a little bit confused as to what I'm getting at here, although I made it pretty clear, I'll break it down for you a little bit better. Take it back to the Boulder Cup and talk about this Medicham, because it was went over pretty extensively by numerous people, and it should be clear at this point as to why Medicham was so great. It's because it can max out completely. This one here is a 100% IV. Let's go ahead and take a look. Simply amazing. HP, attack, and defense. Wow. All right, so it's 100. It maxes out within the Great League under 1500 CP, so its peak potential is there at level 40. So it performed magnificently, took hits well, and also dished out a good amount of damage because it is maxed out completely. A lot of the other Pokemon were not even close to being maxed out, right? And that's why Medicham was able to shine so well, and it was pretty much on everybody's team. The Skarmory is an exception. It's the typing, and it was just a great Pokemon. Just put that Skarmory aside for now and think Medicham. And that is why the Dustox, in my opinion, may be great for the Twilight Cup. Now, a little disclaimer before I end this video here. Don't go out and max one out, right? If you have one already, use it. Test it out with some friends like you've seen me do here. If you're comfortable with it and happy with the results, then maybe consider powering it up, or probably try to get a Lucky or something like that. And that's pretty much it. If you want to invest the Stardust, feel free. I bring you the tests and my thoughts on how I think it would perform. Personally, I think it's going to do better than Venomoth. Now, Venomoth does have that move, Poison Fang, which is going to be a legacy. So if you have that, then excellent. If it's that poison move you're worried about and you have a legacy Venomoth, you're probably convinced and sticking with your Venomoth for sure. But if you do want to go with Dustox, it does have Sludge Bomb, as you see here. It is going to take a little bit more energy to gain and finally get off, but at least it does have a poison charge move, double bar, 50 energy, as well as Bug Buzz and Silver Wind. So it does have everything Venomoth does and better defense, as well as completely being maxed out at level 40, just like Medicham. So there you have it, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up. You heard it here first. Dustox can and will have some great potential for the Twilight Cup. All right. Does have weaknesses, obviously, just like the Venomoth, same typing. So you need to look out for it. But if you go up against a mirror match, it's going to win. So thank you for watching, trainers. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be catching you all next time. Take care.